Good evening, guys and girls. We are back after a very, very long hiatus. This is the We Are the Girls in Claret and Blue show. I'm Ali, and I am joined, as always, with my partner in crime, Reese. How are we doing, Reese?
Yeah, good. Excited for the new season by the looks of transfer activity in the WSL.
Yep, no, absolutely. However, we would like to make a quick correction from the last show that I wasn't in. When Reese awarded Courtney's signing of the season, that was his own personal viewpoint and was not the viewpoint of the We Are the Girls in Claret and Blue. How you can do without telling me?
Well, she still got the award posted to her, so it doesn't matter.
So I'm just clarifying that one out there. That was all Reese. That was nothing to do with me.
But you agree with the decision?
I do not agree with the decision because I think it should have been thrown out, but that's just me. So, as the title of the show suggests, we are going to be talking about the ins, the outs, the ups and downs at Chadwell Heath now instead of Rush Green for our girls in Claret and Blue. Which, to be honest, I think it should be our first talking point, is the fact that the girls have been upgraded in their training facilities. So, Reese, what do you think that's going to do for our aspirations with that push in standards?
Well, I think that's took the women's team to the next level. I think it is massive to have our own complex. I know it sounds weird. It's also somewhere to the fans to go for the women's team as well. Say if they wanted players, autographs, it gives them that sort of unique identity. And with Bath, I've seen the Chadwell Heath complex quite a few times training overnight there, and it's a lovely setup. And also we won't have any distractions from the men's team, which I think was something rumoured in the past with Anasovic. At least that can't happen again. At least that can't happen again, and they've got their own complex, and we're bringing, by what I've seen, quality players in. So we're quite an attractive club now to go to. And yeah, I think our aspirations are high, and I think you've got to credit Jack for what he's doing to this women's team, because I think he's turning us into one of the top teams in the country.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the Chadwell Heath complex is going to be a huge boost. Like you said, it's going to be attractive to players to come and play for West Ham with such great facilities. Because I know at the moment Tottenham are using shared facilities with the public, never mind another team. Their training facilities are a public gym down by the London Bees stadium. And I'm not quite sure where Birmingham's were, but I know they weren't great from what I've heard. So that's definitely going to be a boost for our girls. But I actually wanted to get your opinion on something I read recently. So Casey Stoney did an interview with the BBC talking about, Manchester United's rags to riches story, but that's another thing. And
God.
She was asked about...
Do we have to?
No, this is an important point. She was asked if the girls would start training at Carrington, which is obviously where the men train. And she said, it's not on the cards now. We're just happy with Lee and everything else. So I wanted to get your opinion on the fact that having that disconnect and that not, togetherness that obviously West Ham are showing by giving the girls Chadwell Heath, do you reckon that's going to affect, what the team is? Or
I think one thing that's important, the thing we've done is we also, even though it's West Ham's training ground, it's a separate one to the men's team, which I think is quite important, and I think that's why a lot of teams have separate training grounds, so there's not as many distractions for either side, and each side can concentrate on their training sessions, and nobody can mess around. If the men's team finish early, they can't come over to the women's team and distract and all this sort of bother. So I think unless they do it in the way we have, where it's at two separate venues, I don't think it'll work. And I think that's why a lot of teams, women's teams, train at separate facilities. With a big club like Man United, personally, I think they should have the same training ground at Carrington, because they talk about having equality or having a training ground that is, well, probably in Carrington, that is twice the expectation levels of what is at Lee, that doesn't speak of equality at all. So I think if the team starts to do it like we have, where it's two separate venues, but they're still as good as a facility as each other, perfect. If not, I don't think it'll work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And speaking of quality, we are going to be talking about the ins and outs of our transfer windows so far. So let's tackle the sad news first. Let's talk about the outs. We've lost, first of all, it was 5 players, but I've just remembered speaking, we've lost 6. One so let's start with the one that's heartbreaking for me is we have lost our goalkeeper, our number 1, Anna Morehouse. She has gone over to France to play with the coach that took her on at Arsenal, and she knows very well, and she's going off to be a number 1 for a French team. She will be sadly missed. I know Reece has a preference for another goalkeeper, but she will be missed, and we are forever grateful for her epic saves in the Reading semi-final, which got us to our first FA Cup final in our first season. So that is sad, but we'll get on to what Reece thinks about goalkeepers in a bit, because we had a very good conversation actually before we started about goalkeepers, and Reece is not happy with our system, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you want me to start on that?
Let's elaborate why Reece is not happy.
Well, first of all, I'm gutted that Anna's left. But I think the fact as I said to you before the show, I think the fact that we signed Mackenzie Arnold has spoke for itself. The reason why Anna may have left, from looking from the outside in. However, the only thing I wouldn't say I'm upset about it, but I get frustrated. What having both Courtney and Brosnan and Mackenzie Arnold speaks to me is that they're going to rotate quite a lot, I think. And we've had that for 3 seasons now. I want to see a goalkeeper that's West Ham's number 1 and is established and plays in goal every week. And then on the bench, I personally like to see a young goalkeeper, not necessarily in the West Ham youth ranks. Maybe we'll go and get one that's 21, can the potential of being one of the best goalkeepers in the league with the right development in place, and can learn from the number 1 at the club. Not 2 goalkeepers that are as good as each other. They can learn off each other, but both of them ain't going to get regular, not regular game time, but not as much game time as their talent warrants.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I think first season that wasn't quite true, because it was Becky Spencer up until she just wasn't happy. It just was clear she wasn't up to snuff at that moment in time. And so Anna stepped in, Anna proved her worth. And the only game time Becky got after that was when Anna got red carded. And so she played at the Birmingham Bristol games. Last season, it was definitely a lot of switching about between Courtney and Anna. I don't know, there's something to be said about having 2 great goalkeepers that are competing with each other to get that prime spot. Does it push?
Well, I think the thing is, Ali, if you're going to have 2 great goalkeepers, for me, make it clear to the 2 of them that you're going to play in the league and you're going to play in the cup. Not rotate in the same competition all the time in the league. I personally, I don't like it. It just frustrates me a bit. I want to see West Ham's number. I want to see a West Ham number 1. Not let's rotate our goalkeeper every 5 minutes, because the defence also has got to get used to playing with the goalkeeper, which I think is important. So
you'd rather we establish like the West Ham men's system, in the fact that our number 1 is Fabianski, and unless he's injured or it's a cup game, then it's Fabianski.
Don't be mistaken. I think Mackenzie Arnold will be West Ham's number 1 within 5 games. But I would just like to see her established as number 1, not rotating all the time.
Yep, no, absolutely. And speaking of defence, we did lose a defender in Bournemouth. She has decided to retire, which was surprising to most, because she's very baby-faced. So we were all very shocked to find out her playing and that she was retirement age of football. Again, great servant to the club, even though we only had her for a season,
Mm-hmm.
and will be forever known for her goals against Man United in that epic 3-2 thriller.
See how that smile right straight to my face as you mentioned the 2 goals.
It was a cracking game. It was probably the best game of our season. Because not only
I'll tell you what,
but it showed the fight back, because literally we went down and then 2 minutes later we were back. We went down, 2 minutes later we were back, and then we got the winner. So it was probably our best playing game.
I think one thing as well with Catherine, I think that is now a massive gap to fill. She was outstanding. She was our best player. She was key to making the back 5 work when we were under pressure and struggling, and Matt played that new system. So I think we've got a gap to fill there. She's also a great servant. She was an experienced player. She guided the defence well in games. Her game management was fantastic. So I think Pacheco may come in to replace, and she's got big boots to fill.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You saw how Balnach was with our young players like Fisk, for example, and Hendricks when she was playing with us. And that experience really did lead our back 5. So she's definitely going to be someone we're going to miss next season. I feel and wish her good luck in her retirement. And then we've got 2 players that unfortunately were blighted by serious injuries during their time at West Ham. So they didn't really get to show off the skills that we know we have. So we've lost Esme de Graaf and Tess Middag. Middag unfortunately blew out her ACL before she even set foot on a West Ham pitch, and was out for most of her first season, if not all of her first season. And de Graaf blew her knee in the December of our first season, and only came back at the beginning of this year.
Wasn't that a home game against Man City? I think she done her ACL, from what I can remember.
Yep.
De Graaf.
Nobody's fault. Yeah. She just slipped on, it was bad weather, and she just slipped and tore her ACL.
I can still remember the scream of pain when she done it. That was...
It was not good at all. So yeah, so that, and then like I said, Middag thing, and you know what, they were great. They were great team members, and they will be missed. But unfortunately, I don't think they got to show their true potential at West Ham because they were blighted with such serious injuries.
One thing I will say is whichever club picks up de Graaf has got a great talent on their hands, and I think if she would have not picked up so many injuries, I think she'd be one of them players we would have kept for this season. But I think her injury record was something that distracted us, maybe.
Yeah, I think also the problem is that we brought in players to replace her when she was injured, and then there was no place for her when she came back because she was a midfielder. And then we brought in Cho and Leon to strengthen our midfield. Which
weren't bad signings, were they?
Oh, no. Very happy with them, and we'll come to them in a bit. But it was just, you're going to take off Leon, who is an international player for Canada, is, brilliant. Or are you going to go in with the not quite tested de Graaf, who unfortunately was struggling with injuries? But we will miss them, and we are forever glad that they were Hammers. And we're all now nice people.
Yeah, Ali's gone to the next topic now.
Yeah, pretty much. And then the final ones were 2 players that one didn't get any game time full stop, and one who I think got about 20 minutes on a Reading game. And that was Olivia Smith and Rusha Littlejohn. Now, I think Littlejohn got a bit of a hard deal at West Ham because she was brought in to help when we got a striker injured in Martha, and he never played her. He played her for 20 minutes in a Reading game, and that was it. He ended up preferring moving Alicia up front, which had varying levels of success, let us say. And I'm like, she's one of the top goal scorers for the Irish national team. Why are you not giving her a shot? I don't understand.
I think one of the main reasons behind that, I remember, well, midway through last season, I was saying, when Martha I think Martha was injured and Leon was out with Canada, and I was saying, put Lehman up front, and we finally did it against Brighton, and she scored 2 goals. And I think after that game, I think Matt just wanted to play Lehman up front because she proved she can play that position really well. But I think with Little John, every time she came on the pitch, she impressed. So I was a bit disappointed that she wasn't getting more game time. However, I can understand Matt's reasoning behind it.
See, I don't, because Lehman, yeah, she proved it in Brighton, and then the next couple of games, she wasn't. She missed a couple of sitters against Tottenham at their ground. She missed a couple of key goals in a couple of other games. She was very hit or miss, Lehman. So
see, this is where
didn't give Little John a shot.
This is where I had a lot. I said a lot on the show. We had this debate a lot last season. I think a lot of people were too harsh on Lehman. I thought she had a great season last year. It's just that where the team last year was better than the one we had before, Lehman wasn't shining as much because she had better players around her who were new and grabbing the attention. So this year, I think basically other people will see what I see last season, that Lehman was one of our key players.
I'm not saying she wasn't key. I'm just saying that if we're going off of performance-wise, if like we did with our goalkeepers, we switched them out when some had not great games compared to the others.
She was borderline 7 out of 10 every game last season, I think.
I love you, Reece, but I would disagree with you harshly on that one, because there are definitely games where Lehman did not turn up.
I'm not disputing that, but there was quite rare, I think.
Our good friend Daniel has also said he doesn't understand why Little John was so underused either. I'm just saying, in things like when Martha came back and she came back too early because she was still injured, why did he not give Little John a shot in the Martha's position? Just like for 20 minutes, give her a run around. Like, he never used her.
I think the answer, see, the thing is with this, normally you can give the answer of, well, she's not good enough, but we don't know because we didn't see as much of her. And her record with Ireland speaks that she is good enough.
Exactly. And Olivia Smith, there's not really much to say about Olivia Smith because she never even stepped foot on
no.
the.
I don't think she even. Did she even come off the bench?
No, I don't even think she was on the bench half the time. I think we signed her to make up numbers, to be honest. And yeah, so Godspeed, and I hope she has a great career somewhere else. But a West Ham legend she was not.
That's a bit harsh.
No, it wasn't. Speaking of West Ham legends, see, segue. We had some great news in the fact that 5 players re-signed with us, 4 of them with 2-year contracts and 1 with a 1-year extension on their contract. So let's talk about Captain Fantastic. Gilly Flaherty has signed a 2-year contract, which I know for a fact both me and Reece are thrilled.
With a year extension.
Yeah, with the option of another year's extension afterwards. I don't think we could have carried on without Gilly as a captain. We needed that, even if she's just transitioning to like get, say, Kate to step up. I think we needed her to be that building block to cement us for this season.
Well, without Gilly in the first season, I think we would have struggled to stay up. The second season, if we didn't have Gilly, we would have struggled even more when we had that bad set of games and results. She was the leader who pulled us through that on the pitch. She pulled us through the game against Manchester United with her encouragement when we was 2-1 down. It would have been very easy for the team to fold. Gilly didn't allow that. She pushed them on. We won the game. She is, joined with Kate, the most key player in our team. You can look anywhere you want in the transfer market, you will not find another Gilly Flaherty for us, because she's a complete and utter leader, and there's not many players you can say that about. So that is really key. I mean, I think Gilly's one of them players where she'll be captain for years, and then I think she'll take a coaching role on at the club.
For sure. Yeah.
Her or Kate, I can see take a coaching role at the club because she's just a key player. She knows her football and she's dedicated to the club.
Yes, which probably breaks her Millwall supporting father's heart.
Why did you have to mention that?
I'm just saying, because it's one of my favourite moments is when she told her dad to go into a clubhouse and just say he's with West Ham, and he looked so horrified and was like, "I will not." But you're right, she's absolutely dedicated to West Ham. She has been since she first signed and put on that claret and blue shirt. She is the leader that we need in times of trouble. Sometimes I feel like sticking her on in the men's team because I tell you now, she could G up our back line in that one. But so absolutely thrilled actually for 2 years with the possible extension of 3.
She's probably too good for the men's team, to be fair.
Probably. To be honest, yeah, I hope we're her last club. If I'm honest, I hope we're her last club until she retires and, like you say, takes on a coaching role.
It would be quite heartbreaking if we saw Julia Flaherty in any other team shirt.
Exactly, WSL or not. Like, she's one of our own now.
Yeah, I mean, she's a West Ham legend.
She is a West Ham legend, as my mother would say. So moving further down the pitch, in midfield, we have managed to keep on those 2 great players that we mentioned earlier. Cho and Adrian Leon have agreed another 2-year contract. I'm not sure about if they've agreed an extension as well. But again, that's going to be key.
I think it's 2 years, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 2 years, but I'm not sure if they've agreed the extra extension that Jill did.
No, I don't think
that. But again, 2 brilliant players for us. To be honest, I thought Cho might. I'm surprised Leon did. I'm very happy Leon did. But I thought she might want to go back nearer to Canada to make sure she kept in the mix with the Canadian national squad.
Look, I said to you, Ali, I thought we would struggle to keep hold of her and Kenza Darley. I think, well, I did say a club like Manchester United may have wanted them. They've committed to the club, and they're going to be key to our success next season. However, what I will say is there's a rumour that Julia Simic is on a way of leaving and going to either AC Milan or Inter Milan. I can't remember which one. And I think if Julia leaves, I don't think Leon won't be as good as she was towards the end of the season not because of her talent. I think Julia provided her with a lot of assists, key balls through and stuff. So I think if Julia leaves, it will upset me quite a bit.
I'll be very sad to see Julia go because, again, she's one of these people. But yeah, unfortunately, she struggled with injury and missed out a year on her contract. But she was at every game. She took on a unofficial coaching role with our youth squad and used to go down and give them key pieces of advice and everything else, and was a great ambassador for West Ham on and off the pitch. So it would be a great shame if we lose Julia. Not
many players, when they're injured, go to every game, home and away, commit to a youth coaching role.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when it's not in their home country. So Julia's a great ambassador for the club, and if she leaves, I'll be honest, I'll be fuming.
It would be hurt, but there would be no hard feelings because we absolutely love Julia. And again, it's another one that if someone else signs her, they've got a cracking player. And we wish her well.
I mean, there's no hard feelings as long as it ain't Manchester United.
There is that. Or Chelsea.
Don't wind ourselves up about it, Ali.
So one of the things I said to Anna when she left, I was like, we will support you no matter what, unless you play for Chelsea, Millwall or Spurs. And she promised that none of those would be her clubs, and she was
right. I think Anna will do well at Bordeaux, actually.
Oh, I think she's going to be. It's going to be the making of her, I'm sure, of it. Okay, and then finally 2 other cracking signings that again have one signed on for 2 years, the other one has signed on for a year extension, and that is the aforementioned Alicia Lehman and Kenza Darley. What are your thoughts, Reese? Are you happy? Are you surprised?
well, both surprised and happy that Kenza stayed. Really good player, one of our best players last season. Really lucky to have a player of that quality in our side. And then with Lehman, I think this season she's in underperform. You know, a lot of felt like she didn't have as good as a second season as she had a first. And it's also that burden of, you know, for me now, she's not one of she's young, but she's not one of them unexperienced players anymore. Now she has to put performances in, week out. If not, she won't play in the team. So I think this is a massive season for Alicia, and I think with Kenza, Kenza will provide her with plenty of assists, plenty of great balls through in the midfield into the attack for her to score goals and provide assists. So I think it's a massive season for Alicia.
No, absolutely. And despite my comments earlier, I do love Alicia. I do think she's a cracking player for us, and I'm so glad she's signed on. I'm surprised more so than, and this is common knowledge, of the fact that her girlfriend has gone over to PSG. Ramona Bachmann has left Chelsea.
I was worried about that.
Gone over to France, and I was very concerned that Alicia would want to maybe go play in the French league or in the German Spanish league just to be closer to her partner. But as someone pointed out to me, it only takes an hour and a half on the Eurostar, so.
And signing the contract also means I can also have Lehman 7 on the back of my shirt for the third year.
I was going to say, I had her last year. That was my Christmas present from my parents.
Yeah, I remember Alicia reminding you after every game for quite a while that back of the shirt needs to be Alicia Lehman.
Yep, because I had Jilly for the first shirt, and she saw me, I think it was a pre-season friendly, or she saw me at one of the first games, and ran over, gave me a hug, and then hit me on the chest like that. Was like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "What?" And she was pointing to the back of my shirt, and she was like, "It should be Lehman." And so I did as I
think we both had Flatty at the back of our shirts last season. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's a crazy time. Last season feels so long ago.
It does. It feels like a year ago to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Another Garvey comment from Daniel, I don't want to see Julia leave either, but I can't help thinking that our new Czech midfielder was a signing as a direct replacement for her.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Then again, though, our new player, who we will come on and talk to about...
talk about.
She is also a prolific forward, so she could well be, two up front with Martha. It depends on what Matt wants to play as a system. He's not very keen on the two up front. He tends to like one sole number 9.
5-3-2, I think, will be our base formation next year.
I would like that. I think that would be a good, solid, especially having the back 5, which did work for us so well last season.
Well, the good thing about that position last season, Ali, is I remember from substitutions we could easily convert the 5-2-3 into a 5-3-2 once we was in the leader games and quite comfortable.
Absolutely. And then finally, our brand new signings, which Reese has alluded to before. In between the sticks, I'm very excited by this one. We have signed ex-Australian number 1 Mackenzie Arnold. It was rumoured for a while, and then her agent let it slip before we officially announced it. But that has got to be one of the best pieces of business, not just we've done in the league, that the league has done as a whole, because Mackenzie Arnold is one of the best goalkeepers I have ever seen.
That's a big statement, so I'll just leave it there. I can't say much more than that. But like I said, all I hope with that is we do have a designated number 1.
I do think it is going to be Mackenzie, as much as I love Courtney, and Courtney did save our backsides a fair few times last season. I think Mackenzie has got that sort of gravitas and that skill to easily become the number 1 pick for Matt. I I will be reminding Reese of the wonderful conversation we had when she.
Do you think she'll?
Go on.
Do you think she'll start as number one though, or?
To be honest, I think she will, just because of the pedigree that she has. I think because he started Courtney last season outright. She played in the game against Arsenal beginning of the season, so I think he will be testing her to see what she can do in the league, what sort of players she plays well against, what her weakness is. So I do think she'll start out. And unlike Courtney and Anna, where they were battling constantly, I do think she'll pick the pace up quite quickly and will be our number one. As I was saying, remind Reese of this conversation when we said that we were signing Mackenzie Arnold. He was like, I still love Courtney. Then he saw a video montage of Mackenzie Arnold and went, Courtney can be in the cup.
Yeah, cheers for that. Yeah, cheers for leaking that private conversation out.
You know I love you, really, and I would never out you that meanly. But yeah, no, I do. I think it's probably the shrewdest bit of business that we have done. However, I'm guessing that Reese thinks that the next signing that we made is probably the best bit of business we've done this transfer window, because he has been a fan of this one for a very long time. So we have signed defender Maz Pochino from Reading. She didn't get much game time last season at Reading, so it was quite clear that she was going to be looking for a new challenge this season. And we're very happy to see that she's going to be in a Claret and Blue shirt this season. And I don't mean Villa.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good signing, a great talent. She's in the England ranks. I've seen her play on the FATV player or against us. I've said every time I would love to see her in a West Ham shirt, and now luckily for me she is. To be honest, if we wouldn't have signed anybody else this window, Maz Pacheco would have still been as delighted as I am. But luckily we've got a great goalkeeper as well as Mackenzie Arnold, so we've been spoilt this window so far.
Absolutely. I'm really excited. I've seen Maz play in the unders for England, when I could actually support her, and she is a cracking talent. I see her as a future captain of the unders England, and then going on to be future captain of the seniors. She's just got that sort of presence about you. I think she's going to be a great addition to our defence. To be honest, I want another defender just to shore that up. But I think she's going to be able to slot into that role in the back line really well, and then allow other players to come out on the wing. So I think she's going to give Matt a lot of options.
Hasn't Samson left?
Yes. Oh yeah, I forgot about Samson. Oops. Yeah, that was one I forgot.
She was at London City Lionesses last season, to be fair. I was
going to say, to be fair, she barely played for us when she played for us, and then she went and played for the London City Lionesses and then isn't playing for us. She's also not playing for the London City Lionesses anymore, which is a shame. But I knew there was someone I'd forget. It was not intentional. No offence, Diane. Yeah, so I do think Mads is going to be a great player that can slot into that back line to allow other players to come down on the wing. So I'm very excited by that one. To be fair, I'm excited by all our signings. Unlike our men's team, we've seemed to have been quite shrewd in our women's signings. But
let's be fair to Moyes, he did sign Suchik and Bowen in January.
I still say justice for Hugo. Our final player, which is fresh off the presses, we signed her officially this morning, and this is where we have fun with this name. It is the Czech midfielder Katarina Zavikova. I'm going with that.
I can't really say much about her because I don't know much of her before we signed her today, so I'll let you lead the way, Abby.
Again, I've only really seen her on an international basis. She tore our English defence a new one when we played the Czech last season. She's very quick, very pacey. She is a very tough player. She's not scared to get stuck in, which I quite like, but she also plays beautiful football. She's very quick on the pass. She gets those little pockets of space that, which is why I think Daniel's right that she might be a direct replacement for Julia, because she has a very similar playing style to Julia. And also, if you don't know what she's about, I suggest you Google her goal against Bayern in the Women's Champions League, because I can tell you something, that from the halfway line, it is a cracker of a goal. So I'm very happy that we have managed to.
Well, I watched it before we went on there.
So yeah, so right, so that's who we've actually signed. Two-part question. One, what areas do you think we need to improve on, get in, just to like shore up? And two, who would be your fantasy signing? And I've lost him. He's gone. He's disappeared. So I'll speak to myself. Daniel has said her goal scoring record is fantastic for a midfielder. It absolutely is. It's something ridiculous, like 117 goals in pretty much as many appearances. She is a phenomenal player that I am very excited to be getting for us. I'm just going to whiffle on now. So while Reese is trying to get back in, I will tell you mine. Who I think we need to shore up. I still say we need to shore up our defence. We have strengthened it with Maz, but I just think we need. Basically, I want a Millie Bright. I want a tall, built player that goal scorers are scared to go up against. They're kind of with that with Jilly, but she's not quite tall enough, not quite built enough for that. I just want that sort of built backline player that just gives us that little bit of a competitive edge. Dream signing, going in a completely different direction. I still want Ellen White to. He's back. What happened there, Sunshine? Oh, we have no sound for you. We can't hear you. There we go. Technical difficulties, folks.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Can hear you now.
Yeah, my laptop decided to turn off.
So I was just whiffling on, so I'm going to let you answer my questions. What areas do you think we still need to shore up, and who is your dream signing?
My dream signing is already signed for Man City, Ali, so that question's gone. It would have been.
Chloe Kelly.
I think where we need to improve it is another striker that can either play with Martha or is maybe a young striker coming through the ranks that can progress under Martha. Maybe a centre back we need. An experienced centre back, I think, that can also, Grace and Gilly will be our two main centre backs with Vetterline if we go into a back three next season. So what we need is, if one of them get injured, we need experience to come off the bench and straight into the team. And that's what I would like. Apart from that, unless we lose Julia, I'm happy with the business we've done.
Very good, very good. I was just saying to the folks, I think we need another defender, just to, like you said, just to shore that up, to still have a great experienced player at the back, in case one of them does get injured. Dream signings, which are never going to happen, but going completely different direction. I would love Ellen White to come from Man City.
Sorry, that's never
come play for the club you support, Ellen. We'll love you. So absolutely would love that. Also, that's a mega possibility is I would love to sign Remy Allen. Remy Allen got let go from her Reading contract. Again, it's another midfielder, and she's another sort of Kate Longhurst in the fact that she's both very physical, very just has a big presence, but again, is very skillful, can get the ball through into areas that others might not see. I would love to see her and Kate play together instead of against each other. I think that could be a cracking matchup. But then again, we've got a very packed midfield as it is. So do we really need another midfielder?
When Remy announced that she was leaving Reading, I actually thought she was destined to come to West Ham. So I wouldn't be surprised if we announced that in the next couple of days.
I would really like Remy Allen to come over to us. So
Reading's transfer activity has been quite weird, hasn't it? They've got rid of a load of key players, but they've just signed 2 great players from Arsenal, and Emma Mitchell and Daniela Carter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that does bring me on to my next question, in the fact that how other teams are faring in this transfer window. I've just seen today that Bristol have lost a very key player in their captain, Lauren Dykes. She's now gone down to Cardiff City, where she'll be taking an active coach/player role. But they've managed to keep Ebony Salmon, who's another player I'd have loved to have at West Ham. So, to be honest, everybody seems to be strengthening their squad apart from Birmingham. Birmingham have just lost players again. There doesn't seem to be any movement.
Make no mistake, in my opinion, I think Birmingham are one of them clubs that may be destined for the Championship this season. I think it's between them and Bristol City, personally. Bristol City have made some good signings. The team that's wound me up, because yes, their signings are really good, but they just hype it up way too over. It is Manchester United. I think Stanforth will really, really improve their team next season. I think she may be the player to close the gap between 4th and 3rd for them this season, actually. On a battle as well. I saw her in the Shipley's Cup. She's a cracking signing. Manchester City have made some, what's rumoured is Lucy Bronze and Alex Greenwood is going there. Yes. So if that's true, as well as the signing of Chloe Kelly, I think they're destined to get that title, which will be their main objective this season. Arsenal have made some really good signings as well. I'll be really interested to see how they do. And also I think they're allowed to add 6 new players to their squad in the Champions League.
Yes,
when that returns.
Which is going to be very good for them, because they've signed some cracking players.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they beat PSG in their tie. Just trying to think of other teams now.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously the top ones. I don't think Tottenham have signed many players. I think they've re-signed a few, but they've not.
Tottenham have done the business they've needed to do with the squad they already had. That's what I was
exactly. They've shored it up. Like, they've kept Ashley Neville, who's another cracking player. They've managed to shore it up with who they've got.
The only squad I'd say is weakened is Reading for me.
Yes, because they've signed 2 great players, but they've got rid of 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting to see who stayed on at Liverpool. A lot of people thought.
I still find the signing of, I don't know why, I still find the sign of Daniela Carter and Emma Mitchell to Reading really weird. I don't know why, but I'm
surprised Emma Mitchell didn't stay at Spurs, if I'm honest, because she really got her mojo back at Tottenham. So unless all the sticks,
do you think that could be a case of Tottenham maybe not being able to afford her wages or something?
Could be that. It could be Tottenham wouldn't pay her wages. It could be that she did get a lot of stick from Arsenal fans from going to their rivals, and she might have decided it wasn't worth it. You don't know what Reading's offered her. Reading could have offered her guaranteed first team play, which she obviously wasn't getting at Arsenal. So you don't know. Danielle Carter, I think, has been unlucky the last 2 seasons for blowing her ACL out.
I would have took her at West Ham, to be fair.
I wanted that. I would have, yeah. But if we're talking about players that have been let go that I would love, another one is Rach Williams. I know she's on the older side, but she has been one of the Blues' best defenders going out, and she's a cracking player. So might come join Gilly again. Come on, Rach, come join Gilly and come play for the Claret and Blue.
One thing I will one thing I will say though, Ali, is I personally think this will be the best Barclays FA WSL yet.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's going to be one of the most competitive, not just in the top 3. I think it's going to be a real scrap for like 4th, 5th, and 6th.
I think we'll be comfortable 5th from what I've seen of our signings.
I would love it for us to jump a couple of places. That would be brilliant.
I think also as well, Ali, in a bit of what we expected from last summer is we made some great signings, but I think we, mainly through injuries, to be fair, I think we underachieved a bit. So I would really like to see us have a strong league season and a nice cup run again.
I was going to say, question, would you rather finish stronger in the league or win the FA Cup?
I'll win the FA Cup straight away. There we go.
I want to see Kate Longhurst lift that FA Cup.
Look, as I always say, with league competitions, unless you're in the winning, let's not concentrate on getting second over winning the FA Cup, because to me, second is first loser. We need to win trophies.
Absolutely. And then finally, Daniel, the man, a font of all knowledge. Strong rumours are that we are going to.
Yeah, I've seen this. That would be a really good signing. I've seen it.
Cisco. She's a French defender. She's played in, I think she's played in the under French national team and is making her way into the national French team. She knows Darley really well because they've played together before. And she's been spotted around London with Darley. So it's right that she has decided to take a holiday, which in COVID I wouldn't have recommended, or she's about to sign for a London club, and it's very possible that the London club she's going to sign for is us.
Look, one thing I will say is if we make that signing, I think what that speaks is volumes about our ambition for this club. And every time I see like a rumour of who we're going to sign, because there was another one, I can't remember the player, but I'm pretty sure there was a young German defender, I think we was rumoured to sign, and that's 21 years of age. But I think we're actually targeting 4th or 5th with our signings. I think they are that good. I wouldn't be surprised if we finish above Manchester United next season and nick their 4th place, because I know I mention them a lot, Ali, but seriously, these signings, if we sign the 2 that we're rumoured with and the signings we've already got, we have one cracking team next season.
Yep, and just I hope that they gel together and just get that relationship quick, and then we'll be rocking and rolling.
See, what's different about this season as well is last year we had a sort of spine from the first season, but it wasn't a complete spine. Now we have players for new signings that if you don't hit the ground running, we've got players from last season that you may have replaced for now that will take your place if you're not ready. And I think sometimes that ambition within squads drives the new signings to perform leaps and bounds above what they would do if they came into a side that they knew they'd be first choice straight away.
No, absolutely. And on that joyful note, I believe that is all we have time for. It has been great to be back in the seat with We Are the Girls in Claret and Blue. It probably won't be weekly just yet, just because we'll run out of things to talk about. But I reckon we'll probably be back probably bi-weekly or a lot more common than we have been in recent times as things
It's going to be a bit more difficult now, Ali, because I actually have a thing called a job now. So
I've had a job the entire time, Sunshine, and if I've managed to do it, then
no, but we've got 2 jobs to cater for now.
We do have 2 jobs to cater for, but we've got some bits and pieces in the pipeline which we can't share with you just yet, but they are coming. But we will be juggling this, but we will be back much sooner than when we've left it.
I think the first week we will be back weekly, to be honest, from what we can see, is probably the week before the 4th of September, because that's the week before the season starts.
So yeah, and then you can see us all in our glory every week, dissecting West Ham. But remember us now when we're full of hope, because I'll tell you by December.
Yeah, with our faces like slapped asses, and they'll be moaning every week.
And I'll be constantly on one. But for now, it is a goodbye from me.
A goodbye, and have a lovely month without us.
Good night, guys.